ॐ गुरुरेव घति गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरुः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मातिरस्ति गुरो मम पाहि गुरो सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेदमभेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेदि तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. We are seeing Srimad Bhagavada Purana and we are seeing Canto 9 in it. And we are towards the end of that canto. And in this canto, we saw the two great lines which ruled the Bharata, that is the Surya Vamsha and the Chandra Vamsha. In the Surya Vamsha came Raja Bhagavan Sri Ram. And in the Chandra Vamsha, the greatness of the Chandra Vamsha is the Bhagavan Sri Hari taking incarnation as Bhagavan Sri Krishna. It comes in this line. In the last video, we saw the line of Puru, which is a very famous line. There were many Raja Rishis and Brahma Rishis in that line. So it was a very famous line, divine line, you can say. And Yayadi's youngest son was Puru. Actually, the rulership went to that son because he willingly gave his youth to his father. In the line of Yadu, that is, the Yadu is the eldest son of King Yayadi. The Bhagavan Sri Krishna itself took birth. That we will see in a few minutes. Actually, King Yayadi, he had 5 sons. One of his sons' name was King Anu. Anu, he ruled over the eastern province, and that area was known as the Angarajya. Angarajya is a very famous Rajya because many great rulers ruled there. In the line of Anu only came King Romapada. Romapada was a great emperor. He was known for so many things. And actually, King Romapada is coming in the Luna dynasty, isn't it? He is in that Luna dynasty. He was a great friend of King Dasharatha, who was from the Surya Vamsa, Solar dynasty. So they were great friends. And King Romapada did not have a child. He was childless. And so King Dasharatha, he gave his only daughter in adoption to King Romapada. Her name was Shanta. He gave his only daughter Shanta to his friend Romapada. After that, he didn't have any sons. And after that, the Putra Kameshti Yajna was done. And after that, only Bhagavan Sri Ram was born to King Dasharatha. But initially, they had one daughter. Her name was Shanta. King Dasharatha, in that friendship, gave that only daughter in adoption to King Romapada. And in the land of Angarajya, that is in the Angarajya, there were no rain for such a long time, more than 12 years, there were no rain. And so what all the gurus of the Angarajya and the nearby Rajya, what they all decided was, if a sage Rishyasringa come and perform a yajna, then the rains will not fail. the Angarajya will be fertile forever. That was the decision of the great gurus and astrologers, everyone. So where is this sage Rishyasringa? He is in the thick forest. He won't come to the land at all. He was the son of the great Rishi Vibhandaga. He won't come to the land at all. So what these gurus and the Raja, everyone decided was, we can send the courtesans to the forest, and by their technique, by their talent, by their music, dance, and sweet words, let them somehow mesmerize sage Rishyasringa and bring him to the land, and so that we can perform the yajna. And if he want, he can go back to the forest after that. So this was their idea, and they sent some courtesans of the Angaraja to bring sage Rishyasringa. They all went to the ashrama. At first, Rishi Rishyasringa did not accept them. He was so strict and he did not accept them. But somehow, by their talent, music, and dance, everything, they somehow mesmerized the sage and brought him to the land. And he performed, by the request of everyone, he performed the yajna. And Varuna Bhagavan immediately poured down. There was heavy rain in Angarajya. So before that, many cattle died, many people died because of drought. There were no food or anything. So water, completely there was no water at all. When sage Rishyasringa performed this yajna, the rain poured and they were all so happy. So in gratitude for that, King Romapada gave his only daughter, that is adopted daughter Shanta, in marriage to sage Rishyasringa. So sage Rishyasringa, he married the daughter of Romapada, Shanta. So they lived happily. They did not live in the palace and all. They lived on the outskirts of Angaraja in an ashrama. After that, after many years only, King Dasharatha invited Rishyasringa to perform the Putrakamishti Yajna, and by that Yajna only was born Bhagavan Sri Ram, Bhagavan Sri Hari, incarnated in that family, in that kula. And after the Romapada, after in that line of Romapada came another great ruler, Adhiratha. Once King Adhiratha was standing on the banks of river Ganga. A pettaka, that is a box, was coming along that river, and a small infant is crying inside it. So he took that box and saw, and he was a very beautiful infant boy. So shining, so lustrous. He took that boy and went to the palace, and he brought him up. And later he was known as Karna, King Karna of Angaraja, very famous in Mahabharata, isn't it? So this was the line of Anu, one of the son of King Yayati. Now, Shukabrahma Rishi is going to tell about the very famous line, the line of Yadu. Yadu was the eldest son of King Yayati. Yadu had 4 sons. And in that line only came Kartavirya. You might remember, a few days back we saw the line of Kartavirya. Kartavirya was a great king. He was the disciple of Rishi sage Dattatreya, and he had 1,000 arms. Sage Parashurama cut off all his arms and killed him, and he had 1,000 sons, isn't it? All of them were killed by Parashurama, but 5 of them somehow escaped. And in that line only came the great king Madhu. That is, Kartavirya's grandson was King Madhu. His son was Vrishni. Because of this King Madhu, Vrishni, and Yadu, this line itself became very famous. The descendants of the Madhu were known as the Madhavas. The descendants of the Vrishni were known as the Vrishnis, and the descendants of the Yadu were known as Yadavas. So Madhu's eldest son was Vrishni. In the line of Vrishni only came Akrura and Bhojas and all that we will see in the next canto. In the line of Yadu only came Raja Ugrasena. Ugrasena had 9 sons and his eldest son was Kamsa. He had many daughters also. All his daughters were married by Vasudeva and his brothers. Now, who is Vasudeva? Vasudeva was the son of King Sura. Sura's eldest son was Vasudeva, and Sura had another one daughter also, a very beautiful daughter. Her name was Preeta. And Sura's friend was Raja Kuntiboja. Kuntiboja was issueless, so Raja Sura gave his daughter, beautiful daughter Preeta, in adoption to Kuntiboja, and that's how Preeta became Kunti. Everyone called her as Kunti. Kunti was a very calm girl, very beautiful, very calm, very humble. Whoever come to that palace of Kunti Boja, she will serve them. And like that, once sage Durvasa came to the palace and she served him with so much concentration, humbleness, respect, everything. Sage Durvasa was so pleased by her service. So before he left the palace, he taught her a very good technique known as the technique of Devahuti. That by that technique, one can invite any devas near them and get whatever they want. He advised him the mantra as well as the technique of inviting any devas. Kundi was very young then, teenage, so out of curiosity, she wanted to test that technique. So she applied that technique and invited Surya Deva. Immediately, to her surprise, Surya Deva was near her. And Preeta was so surprised, not Preeta, Kunti was so surprised, and she said, Deva pratyayartham me pratyukta yahi kshamasva me. Please pardon me, Deva. Just for testing, out of curiosity, I applied this technique, so please pardon me for that. Surya Bhagavan said, Amoham darshanam devi aditse tvayi chatmajam yonim yathana dushyeta kartaham te samadhyame. Oh Devi, my visit cannot go fruitless. I won't come to any person like this. Because you invited me with this technique, said you advised it to you by Sage Durvasa, I came here. So my visit cannot be fruitless. So I will give you a child without disturbing you or your name in any way, he said, and he gave a beautiful infant boy to her. And she saw the child and she cannot take the child to the palace because she was a teenage only, because of public criticism and the criticism by the people in the palace. She cannot take the child. She's unmarried also. So what she did was she placed that child in a box and drifted on the stream. So that child later came along on the water of Ganga, and that was taken by King Adhiratha, and he brought him up in his palace of Angarajya, and he became Karna. So that was the story of Kunti. And Vasudeva married one of the daughter of King Ugrasena, Devahi. And Vasudeva had 7 wives altogether. One of them was Devaki and another was Rohini. All the wives of Vasudeva, they had many children. And Devaki and Vasudeva had 8 sons, isn't it? And the 8th son was the incarnation of Bhagavan Sri Hari, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So as soon as, even when Vasudeva was born, all the devas played their instrument just to announce that a beautiful incarnation of Bhagavan Sri Hari is going to be born to this Vasudeva. But then they did not understand all that. So now Vasudeva and Devaki had their eighth son, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. When, as soon as the child was born, Bhagavan, he revealed to the parents his full form, that is the Shanga Chakra Gada Padma Rupa. They saw it, but immediately out of Maya, they forgot everything and they had that small infant child in the hands of Devaki. So that's how Bhagavan, he took incarnation. And Shuka Brahmarishi said that Parikshit Maharaja's grandmother, Subhadra, she was also one of the daughter of Vasudeva, but from a different wife. That is, Subhadra was the younger sister of Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Balarama also, but from another wife. So that was the overall line of Yadu, that is, Bhagavan Sri Krishna was born in that kula. Why did he take incarnation? Yada yadeha dharmasya kshayo vriddhisva papmanaha tadatu bhagavanisha atmanam srujade harihi. Whenever there is decline in dharma and ascendancy of adharma, the supreme being, that is the supreme Lord, comes forth as incarnation. That was his main purpose for taking incarnation. Nahyasya janmano hetuhu karmano va mahipate atma mayam vineshasya parasya dushtu pratmanaha. So using the Yoga Maya, he takes this incarnation. He is the controller of Maya. He is unattached, all-pervading, and the ultimate witness. So the purpose of Bhagavan taking incarnation is to save this creation. So how can he save this creation? By upholding Dharma. By upholding Dharma, he sustains this creation, preserve it, and at the time of dissolution, he will dissolve it also. Another main purpose of taking incarnation is to relieve this earth from the rule of Asuras. During that time, many Asuras in disguise ruled this earth. So, to relieve the earth from the burden of the Asuras, Bhagavan took incarnation. And there's another great purpose for Bhagavan taking incarnation regarding the Bhaktas. Many jivas at bulk, they were liberated whenever Bhagavan takes incarnation, because whoever talk with him, whoever sit with him, whoever get advice from him, they all were liberated at the same time. In Bhagavan Sri Rama's period also it happened like that, and now also in that period of Bhagavan Sri Krishna also it happened like that. So to relieve the jivas as bulk from the cycle of worldly existence, that is worldly existence is caused by himself only, and establish them in the bliss of Atma, he takes incarnation. And Bhagavan, he thrilled everyone with his charming smile, mannerism, his words, his actions, his beauty, his gracious speech, advice. He mesmerized all the people who saw him. And he departed as soon as he was born. He left his parents and went to Brajabhumi. And he destroyed many Ashuras, many enemies there. He married many wives and satisfied many of the rishis who wanted to live with him at least once. And he had several sons. And he relieved the burden of the earth. So these are all this avatar and lakshya of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He accomplished the object of his incarnation and then resumed his transcendental stage. So that was the avatar and lakshya of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So with this ends Canto 9. In the next canto, that is the Canto 10, is completely dedicated to the Krishna Leelas and his Avatara Lakshya, which I will continue in my next upload. Om Namo Narayana Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Om Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.